All right. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. So let's. Can you hear me, by the way?
Can.
Can, sir.
Echo. Right. Let me share with you guys. Some introduction. Yeah. Right. So this is FIN420 financial management, and I believe based on your program code, you guys is the new, not the new lah, one of the new latest cohort lah, using the new code, program code BA272. If I'm not mistaken, this course FIN420 this kali tu dia dah stop for a while untuk cohort before this, but they reintroduced this back. Okay, but anyway, before we go further into the course, let me introduce myself. And I believe kita tak pernah jumpa lagi. Right, my name is Muhammad Faizal, KB Basri. Not to confuse dengan your coordinator. Okay, your coordinator pun nama Faizal juga, cuma nama dia Encik Muhammad Faizal Kamarudin. Okay, so anything related dengan the programs, you nak tanya pasal nak add course, nak drop, nak extend or whatever, ataupun nak cuti khas or whatever, anything academic related dengan administrative issues, you kena contact dengan dengan your coordinator program lah, Encik Muhammad Faizal Kamarudin. Right, I'm just here to teach FIN420 lah for this semester. Right, a little bit about my background. Okay, I got my PhD in Islamic Finance from Darul University, and I can say that I'm actually a product of UiTM myself. So my masters, my degree, and my diploma semuanya from UiTM. Right, so I'm very familiar with the UiTM punya programs lah, basically. Right, and I'm also a registered financial planner and also a certified MFPC trainer from Malaysian Financial Planning Council, MFPC. And currently, I'm not with UiTM anymore. Right, I'm currently attached with UPSI, and I had a short stint with University of Warwick in UK for 1 year. And before that, I started my academic career with UiTM as well. So maknanya dah belajar di UiTM and sempat kerja di UiTM juga lah for about 5 years. Right, and way before that, I touched dengan M-Bank masa tu lah. So lepas graduate, I masuk industri for a while pun about 5 years juga lah di M-Bank before I further my study. Right, and kat bawah tu is my mobile number. So for those yang nak create, let's say WhatsApp group for example, you can add me on lah dalam WhatsApp group. And if I'm not mistaken, this is group 2N. Okay, and that will be my email addresses. Okay, but majority of our communication in terms of handing out the notes, in terms of assessment, assignment, majority communication akan berlaku di future lah. Okay, so please check your future regularly. For this week agak kelang kabut sikit lah because the announcement of the classes tu agak lewat, so I tak sempat nak distribute all the notes up front. I just sempat upload last night kalau tak salah. So if you go to YouFuture for example, you can download the first 3 topics for our course FIN420 ni. Okay, you boleh download kat situ, and I uploaded as well some past questions yang kita akan guna for our exercises. Okay, bear in mind this course tak ada final exam. Okay, tak ada final exam. It stopped way back, I tak ingat tahun berapa, I can't remember when. Nanti kejap lagi kita tengok ada certain cut off date tu, lepas tu dah tak ada final exam anymore. So kita terpaksa gunakan whatever final exams, papers yang dah ada sebelum ni for our references and also for our exercises lah. So kita boleh guna tu lah untuk kita punya tutorial. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so dia punya credit hour is 3 jam. Okay, and since this is a PJJ punya course, right, so kita punya perjumpaan hanyalah 2 jam, okay, for every meets, and it will be 7 times in a semester, and I believe you dah boleh download and you can see already our 7 dates, okay, untuk so called our meeting lah, 7 kali tu. Cuma lah nanti for the third meeting I need to reconfirm later. Okay, sebab kita punya 7 meeting memang dah fix, so susah sebenarnya nak buat replacement, because on the third meeting tu I have something, ataupun I have actually a workshop. Okay, so I'm not sure whether they allow us to do the third meeting, sebab kita tahu the first 2 meetings is online, 2 days, and the next one, the second one, but for the third meeting tu ikutkan face to face, right? So I will update you guys whether I can proceed with the face to face, or alternatively for the third meeting tu pun kita terpaksa buat online as well. Okay, but I will let you guys know later. Okay, for the third meeting, I think at April, towards the end of the April kalau tak salah, right after Raya. Okay. So this is the course description. Okay, what you need to aware of in terms of what will be that you will learn throughout the semester. So this course is designed to enable students to understand the concept of finance. And since you guys ambil Bachelor of Finance kan, so this is the introductory punya course lah. Okay, so you will learn the intermediate dengan advanced level in any other courses in the future. Okay, so this is the basic one, the most fundamental. So it covers financial ratios, financial statements, cash budgets, time value of money, working capital, sources of financing, and also the capital budgeting. So ni adalah contoh-contoh topik yang kita akan go through later. So this is the CLO, course learning outcome. So at the end of the course, students should be able to, number one, to explain the current and future financial plan for corporations, okay, based on PLO number 1. Okay, PLO tu is program learning outcome. So course learning outcome adalah learning outcome untuk khusus ni, financial management 420. So program learning outcome tu adalah learning outcome daripada program Bachelor of Finance. Okay, so dia mapkan lah between CLO number 1 ni, explain current ni, dengan PLO number 1. Okay, so for the second CLO is to report corporations financial position and performance. So for this one, actually there will be one assignment later on. You kena buat lah based on to report the financial positions and performance of a company. Okay, it can be one company, it can be multiple companies. I will decide later lah. Okay, to come up with the effective short-term and long-term decision making. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, to apply the knowledge of financial planning in order to manage shareholders' wealth in achieving the financial management goals. Okay, so this is all the tools and the methods that you will learn throughout the semester. Okay, what kind of financial planning ataupun the methods that you're going to use lah. And obviously the main objective is to increase ataupun to try to improve the shareholders' wealth. Sebab itu adalah salah satu goal yang paling penting dalam financial management. So we have 11 topics untuk FM ni, financial management, FIN420. So ada 11 topik, and as I mentioned tadi, we have 7 meetings sahaja throughout the semester. And bear in mind, salah satu minggu ataupun salah satu meeting tu kita akan gunakan for the final assessment. Okay, and most likely kita akan buat dia pada meeting yang terakhir lah, the 7th meeting. Okay, so maknanya kita ada 6 kali meeting saja untuk discuss all 11. So obviously kita tak akan go through semua secara terperinci, you know, every single details of it untuk 6 kali meeting kita lah. So our meetings will focus more on the important parts, number 1. And kalau boleh, maybe I will try to focus more on the calculations. Sebab memang dalam 11 topik ni, starting topic 2 onwards memang calculation lah, kecuali satu lagi topic 5. So maknanya topic 1 and topic 5 sahaja tak ada calculation. Okay, but the rest memang relates with calculations. So all of the topics yang relate dengan calculation, I have to squeeze in 6 different meetings lah. Okay, if possible. So untuk minggu pertama ni memang sebab intro kan. So I intend to cover the first 2 topics saja untuk hari ni. Okay, the first 2 topics. So maknanya the next meeting number 2, 3 for example, topic 3 and maybe part of topic 4, and then we go on from there. Right? Okay, bear with me. Okay, maybe I to make it bigger. Okay. Right, so the syllabus I already shared in future as well. You boleh download syllabus ni. Okay, this syllabus I ambil daripada course info lah, daripada AIMS tu, okay, daripada sistem UiTM yang compile all the latest syllabus ataupun course information. Cuma I letakkan dalam my own file lah, my own documents. So CLO ni semua sama, dah explain to you tadi. And kalau dalam PowerPoint tadi, the presentation slide tu is just a brief ataupun the topic itself. Tapi kalau nak tengok in details the subtopics, you boleh tengok ataupun you can download the syllabus. For example, topic 1 tadi ada intro to financial management, dia ada subtopics that you can go through lah. Okay, that you can go through. Kita tak nampak ni. Sekejap sebab I dengar bunyi okay, bear with me. Tak dapat masuk. Okay, sekejap sebab I dah set auto. Okay, I dah set auto admit tadi sebenarnya. Tapi tak apa, thank you very much for the information. Okay, go back to this one. Yeah, as I mentioned, the subtopics you boleh tengok kat sini lah. Okay, so macam cakap tadi, for today's punya session, I'll try to cover the first 2 topics at least. Okay, and then we go on lah nanti. So for the next sessions. So topic 3 ada financial ratios analysis. So topic 3 ni quite important sebab your group assignment akan menggunakan this topic alone. Okay, your group assignment. Later on I will share with you what you're gonna do lah. Right, at least the general punya instruction I will let you know later. Okay, financial ratios. And then we have the financial planning and forecasting. Okay, topic number 5 ni memang teori saja. But this topic number 5 is actually the introduction for topic 6 and 7. Okay, when we talk about working capital, memang dia melibatkan cash, marketable securities, account receivable dengan inventory. So 6 and 7 ni a continuation from topic number 5. So 5, 6, 7 ni kita boleh groupkan dia sebagai satu topik yang besar lah. Right, and then we have 8 and 9, short-term financing and long-term financing. Okay, so whenever the company facing shortage of funds ataupun dia ada masalah dengan funding for example, so dia ada 2 option lah, nak guna financing secara short term or using a long term alternatives. So semua ni ada dalam ni topic 8 and 9. The concept of time value of money, okay, topic number 10, and finally topic number 11, capital budgeting. Okay, so let's talk about the assessment. So assessment dia 100% coursework macam saya cakap tadi. There's no final exam. So how dia pecahkan, so there are gonna be 2 tests. Okay, I mentioned tadi final assessment atau final test akan berlaku pada the final class. Okay, so the final test will give you 30%, but we also have test 1. Okay, test 1 ni pun besar juga value dia, 20%. So altogether from test alone, okay, one composition of test in section, it will give you half, 50%. So my advice, don't skip your test. Okay, don't skip your test. Test 1. Okay, test 1 ni kita akan buat online saja. Okay, so after we reach a certain milestone, Okay, most likely untuk test 1 ni kita akan buat after topic 4 ni. Okay, after topic 4 ni kita boleh buat dah test 1. Okay, so most likely dia akan berlaku semasa ataupun during the week ataupun seminar 4. Okay, mungkin dia akan berlaku kat situ lah after we finish topic number 4. Okay, so kita akan buat test 1 kat situ. And for the final test, whatever yang kita dah discover dalam test 1 will not be covered in the final test. Okay, so maknanya final test tu akan consist of whatever selepas test 1 punya coverage tu lah. So maknanya if I decided until topic 4 tadi for test 1, okay, so 5 onwards akan di-cover dalam final test. Okay, remember we have 11 tadi kan? So dia tak even 50-50 lah. Okay, maybe 4-7 macam tu. So the first test will be the first 4 topics. And for the final test, the final 7 topics. And tak semestinya 7 tu semua juga yang akan masuk. I will let you know later. Okay, because we can assign other types of assessment. Okay, untuk measure your understanding. Tak semestinya melalui test. Okay, so 50% from the test. Okay, like I said lah, about half of it. So second types of coursework adalah group assignment. Okay, ada satu big project, tak adalah big sangat, maknanya just one project that you have to prepare later on. And the project itself ada 2 jenis assessment. Okay, satu adalah written report. So you need to prepare a written report as a project. It will give you 20%. And then from the written project tu, you kena present, okay, present the reports. And again, since we have limitations with regards to meetings, kita punya perjumpaan limited, so this presentation selalunya I will ask the students, the group tu tadi, untuk prepare video presentation. Okay, prepare a video presentation, upload it in YouTube ke, for example, share with me the link, share me the QR code, for example. Then I can assess from the video for the 10%. So total combined for the group assignment adalah 30%. So far dah 80%, 80% of the assessment. So 50% test ada 2, and then group assignment 30%. And this 30% is actually just from one project. Cuma ada 2 penilaian lah. Satu adalah from the written report 20%, and then the presentation 10%. And finally, individual. Kalau tadi ada group, and then we have the 20% comes from the individual assignments. Okay, so individual assignment ni paling banyak 2. Okay, paling banyak 2 individually. Okay, it can be in a form of online multiple choice question. I boleh buat je dalam future tu, multiple choice question. Or we can, I can post a question and then you jawab je lah and submit to me dalam future juga. Okay, so please, like I said tadi lah, regularly check your future for these assignments. So I akan post setiap minggu tu, week 1 sampailah week terakhir, week 14 tu. Almost every week akan ada information, akan ada information about class, information about revision, information about assignment, semuanya akan ada kat dalam tu lah. So please check every week punya announcement lah. Okay, and I akan post dalam setiap folder untuk setiap minggu tu. So please check kat situ lah. Right, so overall, these are the 100% of your assessment. Okay, macam cakap tadi, tak ada final exam. And rule dia simple, untuk pass, make sure buat semua ni. Tak ada yang miss. Okay, ada satu tak hantar, please contact me and kena submit lah. Okay, jangan tak submit. Dia selalunya yang fail tu selalunya ada yang tak submit lah. Right, you tak submit, then you missed the marks, right? And obviously, bila hilang markah, for example, test 1 tak buat dah 20%, right? And then group assignment, tak dapat cari group member contohnya, dah hilang 30%. Okay, so please Jangan duduk diam-diam je lah. So if you have problems, just let me know. Okay, you have your colleagues. Okay, communicate dengan your colleagues. That's why tadi kalau I beritahu, if you want to create a WhatsApp group, so everybody can join in the WhatsApp group for faster communication untuk cari group members ke later on. So senang sebab markah dia besar kat situ 30%. So the last part of the syllabus is actually related dengan references. Okay, this one kalau you nak cari lah if you want to have. Okay, but this is not compulsory. Okay, this is an optional lah kalau nak cari these references. Okay, and this is my contact just like I said earlier. Okay, ada dah dalam introduction tadi, and if you download the syllabus, you can get my contacts kat dalam ni juga. Alright, that's about the syllabus. Ada soalan tak so far?
No, sir.
Right, thank you. So ni dah tadi ada explain and also the references. Ini nama je lah. Ni salah ni. Okay. So kalau ada betul kan tak ada soalan If there's no questions, let's start ataupun let's go straight away to our first topic. So ni topik tu kita tengok je lagi. We go to straight topic number 1. So topic number 1 ni memang totally 100% theory. Okay, it just introduce to you the concept of finance. What is finance is all about. And bear in mind, kita punya decision making, kita punya, all the related tools that we use relates dengan corporates. Okay, maknanya ni adalah financial management for businesses, for corporations. Okay, so decision dia bukan untuk individual punya decision lah, bukan untuk individu. So untuk individu, you have another finance courses, financial planning, personal financial planning. Okay, FIN420. Okay, that's for individual punya decision making lah. Okay, but for this FIN420, 420, this is more on companies punya decision making. So that's why we need to know the types of business organization and what would be the goals of a firm. Ada hint tadi masa introduction punya section. And what would be the functions of the financial manager, and lastly to understand the concept of risk and return relationship. Okay, so untuk ni again sebab kita tak ada banyak masa, I will briefly explain to you saja untuk topik ni before we go into more important topics, which is topic number 2 kejap lagi. Okay. So what is finance? So finance can be defined as the art and science of managing money. So when we talk about managing money, okay, dia bukan hanya manage duit yang kita ada, okay, duit yang masuk saja, but we are actually managing the outflow of the money. Okay. And at the same time, if we have problems with regards to cash flows, for example, either inflows atau outflows, we have tools untuk macam mana manage the money. Okay, manage the money, so-called money lah, ataupun how to manage the funds. So finance will allow the companies ataupun the finance managers to obtain and allocate financial resources effectively and efficiently. So selain daripada itu, kepentingan finance, so I'm not sure whether all of you ada somehow bekerja related dengan finance department ataupun tidak, ataupun you take this Bachelor of Finance because you interested with the program, for example, tapi belum lagi berada dalam lingkaran ataupun circle of finance. So if you learn finance, obviously it will be much easier for you to communicate with other department. Okay, so finance is really important lah sebenarnya juga. And obviously as a finance manager, the ones yang buat decision making, you need finance punya tools ni for your financial decisions. Okay, in terms of releasing new products, for example, sebab bila kita cerita pasal nak release new products, obviously it involve cost. Okay, so cost relates dengan financial decisions. Okay, costing, budgeting, for example. to acquire new assets. Okay, kalau macam cakap tadi, if you have problems with fundings, duit tak cukup for for whatever reasons, short term ataupun long term, we need to discuss ataupun we need to know the sources of borrowing kat mana. So bila nak borrow, adakah kita nak menggunakan hutang, debts, ataupun to use kalau for companies yang berhad, for example, to issue new stocks to get funding. So all of this relates dengan financial decisions. Okay, and we will learn most of yang I mentioned tadi lah. Okay, so finance is concerned with the process, institutions relates with the financial markets, and also the instruments that we can use, okay, in order to transfer from one party to another. And usually when we talk about transitions of funds in the market, okay, ni daripada economic theory okay, bear with me, I terlupa bawa balik tablet pen tu. Selalunya I can jot down ataupun I will write dekat slide ni, tapi for this first week ni bear with me lah, I terlupa bawa balik. So I have to integrate my computer ni dengan my tab, bukan tablet nak tulis tu, tapi macam iPad untuk tulis later on lah, untuk exercise. So I cannot use the tab ataupun pen ni untuk tulis on the PowerPoint ni. So I have to explain je lah. Tapi when the time come untuk exercise kejap lagi, to show you, to explain to you, I need to switch to my iPad untuk explain. Right, that's why if you notice, I have two accounts connected here. Anyway, and for those who work in non-financial jobs will benefits knowing finance, so that macam cakap lah, being able to interact effectively with other departments, okay, with regards to personnel, processes, procedures, ataupun how to convince other people in the company when you present your ideas, okay, ataupun your proposal. Okay, next up we have the parties involved when we talk about finance. Okay, sebagai sebuah company yang katakanlah company ni tak ada kena-mengena dengan finance punya business activities, dia akan ada interactions with other institutions ataupun parties in the market. Okay, so we have the financial institutions. So these financial institutions, paling mudah kita boleh label lah financial institution ni sebagai banking institutions. Okay, so this banking institution ataupun financial institutions will act as an intermediary. Dia akan menjadi orang tengah that channels the funds, okay, from the depositors. Okay, you bayangkan depositors into ataupun channel the funds towards ataupun to the other parties that requires funding. Okay, and this companies ataupun parties yang memerlukan funding adalah those yang akan membuat pinjaman. So imagine this ataupun I kena tulis aku ni sebab I cannot write. So imagine we have two parties kita panggil dia selalunya surplus and deficit parties. Deficit parties. So for the surplus, okay, for those yang surplus adalah those yang ada extra cash. Okay, for those yang ada extra cash, what they do, dia ada banyak cash yang tak diguna. Dia tak gunalah. So what they do, they will channel this fund to the financial institution dalam bentuk deposit. Dia simpanlah duit dia dalam bank dalam bentuk deposits. Okay, so bank akan pull all these funds dalam dia punya account. Okay, and the other party adalah deficit parties. Okay, deficit. So siapa deficit? Deficit adalah orang yang mengalami kekurangan fund. Okay, kekurangan fund. Surplus tadi yang ada lebih fund ada lebih fund, dia ada extra fund, dia deposit in the financial institutions. And financial institution tadi kumpul semua fund ni. Alright. And this fund will be channeled to these deficit units. So deficit unit adalah orang yang kekurangan fund. Orang yang kekurangan fund ni akan go to the same financial institutions and they will borrow ataupun they will get their financing to this same financial institutions. Okay, so that's why financial institution tadi bertindak ataupun act as a intermediary, orang tengah. So yang surplus pergi dekat dia, the deficit parties pun will go to them as well. Okay, cuma the transaction will be different lah. So surplus buat deposits, tapi yang deficit datang untuk buat pinjaman ataupun mendapatkan pembiayaan financing from the same financial institution. So financial institution ni akan menjadi orang tengah. Right, so as I said, example of financial institution yang paling senang adalah the banks yang you nampak hari ni lah. Okay, so everybody ada savings account for example. So semua akan deposits. So you act as a surplus unit. Okay, at the same time, orang yang sama mungkin juga go to the same banks yang you simpan duit tadi and request for car financing, nak beli kereta contohnya. So sama jugalah. The same bank akan provide the financing to you for the purpose of purchasing a car, for example. So we have these financial institutions untuk memudahkan lah, to make sure that the market become efficient. Nak channelkan fund from one party to another dengan lebih lancar. Okay, itu satu, the intermediaries. Satu lagi, intermediation boleh berlaku dalam what we call as financial markets. Okay, so financial markets again is a platform in which the suppliers of funds and the demanders of fund can do their business directly, can do their transactions. Okay, so sama konsep dengan surplus dengan deficit ni. Dia ada, dalam case ni diguna terms apa tadi, suppliers and demanders. So suppliers ni is basically those yang surplus and demanders adalah those yang dalam deficit. Okay, cuma the nature of the transaction bukan macam bank lah. They are not banks. Okay, walaupun participant dia ada banks, but the nature of the transaction is more on instruments. Dia akan menjual ataupun trade instruments. So that's why in the financial markets, we have two key financial markets, ya, yang dipanggil money market dengan capital market. So to differentiate between these two, money dengan capital market, so money market ni adalah where the short term instruments being traded. Okay, so the keyword untuk money market adalah short term. Okay, when we talk about short term, transaction ni berlaku kurang daripada 1 tahun. Okay, anything less than 1 year. Okay, so anything transaction yang less than 1 year yang melibatkan debt ataupun marketable securities akan berlaku dalam money market. So dalam money market ni selalunya, okay, yang ada lah currently mostly government securities traded dalam money market. Okay, dalam case ni government, okay, adalah the demanders of fund. Dia jual marketable securities ataupun instruments dia, and yang membeli ataupun yang invest in this marketable securities ataupun instrument ni adalah suppliers of fund. Those yang ada surplus, yang akan invest, yang akan beli the investment from the government. You pernah dengar kot, MGS, Malaysian Government Securities, ataupun kalau yang long term sikit, kalau government punya juga, macam government bond, government sukuk for example. So government adalah the demanders of fund, dia yang memerlukan funding. So macam mana dia nak dapatkan funding tu? Dengan menjual paper ataupun securities. So the suppliers can be anybody yang ada fund yang boleh membeli, okay, and purchase the securities, and we channel the fund to the government. So government dapat funding from the public, from the companies, okay, tapi dia kena bayar balik lah. Okay, bayar balik within a stipulated time. So kalau money market selalunya within 1 year. And untuk long term transactions, dia akan berlaku dalam capital market. Okay, so involve transaction in long term securities in the form of bonds ataupun stocks. Okay, kita akan go into details the bonds and stock in topic number 8. Topic number 9 kalau tak salah, long term financing. Sebab memang specific about long term, so how you want to borrow money in the long term ataupun in the capital market, right? So this is financial markets. Okay, so when we talk about company punya decision making, go back to companies punya decision making. So bila dia ada extra fund, dia kena deposit, dia kena tahulah nak deposit kat mana yang akan bagi dia the best possible returns. Okay, dia boleh deposit dekat financial institution, dekat bank, for example, untuk dapatkan returns. As you all know, bank punya return is not that high lah, depending on the products. Okay, and kalau company tu decide ataupun to take extra risk, dia can go into the financial market, either to the money market ataupun capital market untuk dapatkan extra returns. Sebab when we talk about money market or even capital market, selalunya akan give you higher returns. Okay, but obviously bila kita cerita pasal high returns, there's a possibility of a high risk jugalah involved. So kita akan discuss the relationship of high risk, high return towards the end of this topic, 1.4 kejap lagi. Right, sama jugalah to decision making kalau you surplus as a company. Kalau you deficit juga, you need to decide where to get your funding. Okay, bila ada masalah dengan kewangan dari segi funds, you boleh decide untuk pergi dekat bank juga untuk borrow money. And kalau kita deposit dekat bank, selalunya return dia rendah. Tapi bila kita pergi dekat bank, selalunya dia punya rate of profit yang di charge kat kita tu, it will be higher. Okay, so alternatively, as a company, you can go into financial markets untuk jimatkan kos meminjam. Right, you can go to the money market or even the capital market if you have a credential as a company to attract investors at a lower cost. Okay, selalunya financial market ni akan bagi opportunity for company to get funding at a lower cost as compared to the financial institutions. Okay, so semua yang saya cerita ni tadi adalah melibatkan decision making. Okay, so macam mana nak decide? Okay, so that's what we will learn throughout the semester lah. Right. So dalam financial market, there are two types of tadi kita dah cerita ada money market dengan capital market. Itu adalah where the market transacted, tetapi dia boleh categorizekan lagi either money market ataupun even capital market tadi, dia punya types. Okay, kita panggil dia primary market dengan secondary market. Okay, tak kira lah, these two, primary dengan secondary, can be for money market and it can be for capital market juga. Right, so what's the difference? Simple je nak bezakan primary dengan secondary. Primary adalah untuk new issuance. Bila company tu jual the instruments in the money market ke, dekat capital market ke, for the very first time, dia dijual di dalam primary market. But when the initial buyer ataupun initial investor of the primary market tadi tu, dia nak jual instrumen dia akan jual in the secondary market. Okay, ataupun dalam bahasa mudah dia, dalam second hand market lah. So bayangkan macam second hand, dijual kepada other investor, for example, it will happen in the secondary market. So why secondary market important? Okay, sebab nak increasekan liquidity. So when we talk about liquidity, dia nak menunjukkan bila kita invest dalam financial market, duit kita tu kalau kita perlukan before dia punya maturity, we can sell it to other people. Imagine if we don't have the secondary market, kita invest untuk setahun, kita kena tunggu setahun untuk dapat balik kita punya return. Okay, so this secondary market allows liquidity. So you tak perlu tunggu setahun lah. So katakanlah you invest hari ni, you are supposed to wait for 1 year, but after 1 year, atau after a few months, tiba-tiba you need the fund back, right? You can sell to other people to get your money back. Okay, orang yang baru beli tadi lah yang akan tunggu sampai the instrument tadi mature after 1 year. Okay, so that's the purpose of secondary market lah. So it also can generate pricing information. Okay, sebab price of our instrument berubah-ubah setiap masa. Okay, berubah setiap masa. It can go up and it can go down. Okay, macam bayangkanlah dalam yang paling mudah to explain in the share market. Dalam capital market ni ada stock kan. Okay, stock ni salah satu information yang ada adalah stock price, harga dalam pasaran saham company-company yang trade in the Bursa Malaysia. Okay, dalam Bursa Malaysia. And the price can go up and go down depending on the performance. It can be in terms of the performance, it can be in the form of demand and supply. Okay, kalau ramai yang demand, harga dia naik. Sama juga kalau kalau demand dia rendah, akan menyebabkan price dia turun. So this secondary market will give you pricing information. So that's why harga dia berubah setiap hari dalam secondary market. And it also provide a barometer of corporate performance jugalah. Okay, macam cakap tadi, dia relate dengan demand and supply lah, macam cakap tadi. So kalau demand dia tinggi, menunjukkan there's a high, interest in terms of the performance of the company lah. And number 3 ni tak ada kena-mena dengan types of financial market sebenarnya. So this is number 3 ni is actually separate from this. So for the stock exchange ni, this is where all the markets ataupun all the transaction happens. Okay, kat dalam Malaysia, kita ada the single stock exchange dipanggil Bursa Malaysia lah. Okay, let me write it here. So in Malaysia, it's called Bursa Malaysia. Bursa Malaysia. So for Bursa Malaysia, it depends on the products lah. For example, kalau stocks, kita ada Bursa Malaysia shares exchange kat situ. Okay, kalau derivative ada Bursa Malaysia derivative. Kalau bond ada Bursa Malaysia bonds. Okay, so semua types of instrument tu ada dia punya subsidiary. Okay, cuma the parent company adalah Bursa Malaysia. Okay, kalau ada soalan, just let me know. Kalau tak ada, I just go straight. Next is the business organization. So ni, I nak go quite fast ini. So the types of business organization, dia ada 3 jenis. Ada sole proprietorship, okay, perseorangan. Business owned by one person and he or she will operate on his own untuk profit and it's quite easy to set up. Okay, hanya ada seorang, nama pun sole proprietorship, sole proprietor. So business owner ada seorang sahaja. So anything more than one, selalunya kita boleh buka partnership punya business organisation lah, sorry. So 2 or more, buka dipanggil partnerships. So you boleh buat dia dalam banyak bentuk formality lah. Okay, banyak bentuk understanding or agreements between 2 or more parties. And the third form is corporates. Okay, so legal entity created by either state, by government, ataupun by multiple individuals. And this entity will be differentiated from the owner. Kalau tadi sole proprietorship dengan partnership ni, you and business is together. Okay, you and business punya apa? Liability akan belongs together. Tapi kalau corporation ni, dia akan separatekan the ownership dengan the managers. Okay. And so in corporations, dia ada pecahkan lagi kepada private dengan public. Okay, private tu as you all know yang sendirian berhad punya company, and kalau public tu yang berhad companies. Okay, so dia ada pros and cons lah, strength and weaknesses for all types of business organizations. Kalau untuk sole proprietorship dengan partnership ni is quite similar. It's easy to set up. Yang paling apa dia punya strength ni lah, it's easy to set up. Cost pun rendah to set up. As an owner, you boleh receive ataupun you can generate profits all for yourself. At the same time, kalau loss pun you suffer sendiri sahajalah. And kalau you kalau you nak dissolve pun is quite easy. So proprietorship dengan partnership. Cuma partnership ni ada kelebihan daripada sole proprietorship sebab dari segi fund, sebab you have more than one person kan. So funding tu lagi besar. You can share between the partners. Okay. And as a partnership juga, you have more brain power sebab you ada banyak partners kat dalam tu, so you boleh brainstorm and you can generate more ideas and you have more people to manage. Kalau you individual, you buat semua seorang. Right? So in terms of weaknesses ataupun dia punya disadvantage, both have unlimited liability. So what does it mean? So kalau business tu mengalami kerugian, you as a business ataupun as a owner of the company, you have to tanggung the business punya sorry I dengar macam ada orang nak masuk tadi. Okay, so you have to tanggung all the business punya losses lah. Okay, sebab dia unlimited. Right, they have unlimited punya liability. So even company you yang rugi, company you yang tanggung hutang, you as the owner of the company, you have to bear the liability. You have to bear the cost of debts. Okay, hutang tu semua you are bertanggungjawab untuk bayar balik. Okay, difficult to give employee long run career opportunity sebab once the owner tu pass away, for example, you kena dissolve the company. You tak boleh hand over, you tak boleh transfer. You kena set up new company lah, basically. Kalau ada anak, contohnya, anak dia kena buka new company lah. Right? So lack of continuity when proprietor dies. Okay. So alternatively, we have corporation. So kebanyakan decision making yang kita nak buat untuk this cost revolve around corporates atau corporations. Okay, semua melibatkan corporation. So apa kelebihan corporation? Owners have limited liability. So kalau tadi, so proprietorship dengan partnership, they have unlimited liability. Maknanya you have to cover the debts of the company. Tapi untuk corporations, hutang syarikat adalah hutang syarikat. So sebagai pemilik syarikat, you don't have to use your own money to pay. Okay, so all the liabilities, all the debts adalah tanggungjawab syarikat, not the owner of the company. Okay, so that's why corporate tadi dia punya key features dekat sini dia kata apa? Dia ada separate distinction between the owner dengan company tu. So dia terpisah. So kalau company tu yang hutang, company itulah yang kena bayar balik. So the owner don't have any liability lah untuk bayar. So which guarantees that they cannot lose more than whatever they invested. It's a long life firm. Okay, dia boleh continue from one generation to another. You boleh ambil professional managers, you boleh hire other people to manage the company. Have better access to financing, so senang nak buat pinjaman either to the financial institution ataupun to the financial markets, and obviously can offer a better employment to the employees lah. Okay. Tapi keburukannya pula the tax. Okay, tax dia selalunya company tax is quite high as compared to sole proprietorship ataupun partnership. Okay, yang 50% ni jangan tengok this is old ones. So sekarang kalau tak salah 25 ke 28% tax rate. Okay, quite high lah tax rate dia. More expensive to organize. Okay, subject to greater government regulation, especially kalau you punya business tu terikat dalam certain industry yang sometimes government ada interest lebih, dia akan letak banyak regulations. Okay. And lack of secrecy sebab you kena publish all your information to the public. Okay. As a company, you kena buat annual report, you kena buat financial report. So, and this financial report and annual reports you kena publish to the public lah. You kena letak dalam your corporate website and everybody can access. Kalau macam sole proprietorship dengan partnership ni, you tak perlu disclose. You kena buat account semua. Tapi macam ni tadi lah, dia ada secrecy. You don't have to publish if you don't want to. Okay, tapi untuk corporates, it is mandatory for you to publish. So that's why you ada lack of secrecy lah. Memang kena transparent. Okay, itu keburukan ni lah if you want to see from that angle. Okay, itu baru 1.1 So I intend to start at 3 for this topic. So I have about 9 minutes lagi. So I simplify je goals of a firm. So untuk company, maximization of profit ni bukanlah the main objective. Okay, it's not the main objective. Okay, it's not enough lah. So salah satu measurement of profit ni kita boleh gunakan earning per share. Dalam case ni dia bagi example lah, earning per share ataupun EPS by the total earnings divided by number of shares. Okay. But dalam case ni dia beritahu the profit maximization alone is not enough as it ignores the timing of return, the cash flows available to the stockholders and also the risk. So what would be the best measurement is actually by doing this to maximize the shareholders' wealth. Okay, the maximize the shareholders' wealth, which is the using of EPS ni tadi lah. So EPS ni adalah measurement untuk shareholders. So the higher the earnings and also the lesser the number of shares of stock available in the market, the higher the EPS. So as a company, you want to have the the highest EPS as possible lah, earning per share as possible. Okay, so ni function of financial manager. Okay, so kebanyakan function ni kita akan go through in our topics in the future. Macam mana nak buat forecasting and planning. Okay, this one ada dalam topic 1 to topic 4 forecasting and planning. How to forecast the usage ataupun the requirement for cash, for example, the requirement untuk funding, for example. So forecasting and planning kita akan go through in topic 4. Major investment and financing decisions, okay, ada banyak dalam topik 8 and 9 nanti. Coordination and control. Dealing with the financial market, kita dah discuss tadi financial market, so we need to know where to invest our money if we have surplus, and where to borrow the funds, okay, if we have deficit positions. And important juga dividend policy, okay, if you opt for to be a public listed companies, obviously you akan ada shareholders, okay, ada shareholder dalam company you lah. So as for shareholders, okay, dia punya expectation when they invest in a company is for them to get dividend, okay, and dividend usually comes from profits. As a company, the source of fund untuk dividend payment adalah daripada profit. Kalau company tu untung, barulah boleh bayar dividend. Okay, sama juga lah macam kalau you pernah dengar kalau investment dalam ESB ke mutual funds, if the the fund to generate profits, barulah profit ni kita akan distribute back to the shareholders in the form of dividend. So sama juga as a company lah. So if the company generate profits for the year, obviously dia akan bayar some parts of the profits to the shareholders. Tapi nak bayar berapa banyak? We have to give everything, every single profits to the shareholders? Okay, obviously not. So kita kena retain some of it in the business. So decision ni yang perlu dibuat oleh financial manager, nak bagi berapa banyak, berapa percent. So obviously they have their own dividend policy, okay, untuk determine how much percentage they will give up in the form of dividend to the shareholders. And also risk management jugalah, they have to manage the risk. Cuma sometimes as a big corporation, the risk management, they might have the department lah yang manage this fund ataupun manage the function of risk management. Okay, and the final part for this topic number 1, introduction, is the risk and return relationship. So risk can be defined as the chance of financial loss, or more formally, the variability of return associated with a given asset. For example, if you forecast that your company will get 1 million ringgit of profit next year, due to a presence of risk, you may actually, sebab ni prediction kan, you will forecast you dapat 1 million, tapi adakah at the end of following year, adakah you will get that 1 million? So if you if the 1 million tu can be somehow confirm you akan dapat, okay, next year, we can say that the risk is very, very low. The presence of risk is very, very low lah. Kalau risk lagi tinggi, the chances for you to get the 1 million would be less. Okay, the inverse. So the higher the risk, okay, the chances untuk you dapat 1 million tu would be low. Okay, and vice versa lah. So maknanya kalau the risk is less ataupun low, the chances for you to get the 1 million would be high. So the risk refers to the possibility that the actual outcome berbeza, right, or differ from the expected outcome. And this risk can be measured using measurement of standard deviation. Okay, so there are 2 types of risk. Okay, one is called systematic risk and the other is unsystematic risk. So systematic risk is a non-diversifiable risk that cannot be eliminated no matter how many securities are held in investment portfolio. Okay, ni kalau kita cerita pasal investment lah. Systematic risk adalah risk yang tak boleh dihilangkan, cannot be eliminated. Right. So regardless how good your diversification, how good you manage the company, this systematic risk will always be there. And usually this systematic risk adalah datang daripada external factors. So benda yang daripada luar macam mana kita nak manage kan? We cannot manage. So therefore, this systematic risk is non-diversifiable, macam cakap tadi, cannot be eliminated. And usually, kalau kat sini dia tak letak tapi how to measure selalunya kalau kita cerita in detail lah, kita tak akan go through kat, untuk khusus ni. But later on when you learn advanced ke, you learn about portfolio ke, you're gonna learn this in more detail lah. Okay, systematic risk. So systematic risk ni selalunya dia akan measure let's put it here. Measure using beta. Okay, so measurement dia adalah menggunakan beta ataupun the symbol macam B in Greek punya form tu lah, beta. So measurement dia adalah beta. So the higher the beta, the higher the risk. Okay, and this beta risk ataupun the systematic risk can be in the form of market daripada luar, market risk, demand and supply from the participants, interest rate risk and also purchasing power risk. Okay, so semua ni nanti bacalah kat belakang ni, market risk, interest rate and also purchasing power. Untuk unsystematic risk pula, selalunya it comes from within. Okay, it comes from within, dari dalaman, and you can manage this fund. Okay, you can manage this fund. So you can reduce it to a certain extent if you have a good mixture of portfolio punya management skill lah. Okay, so untuk yang unsystematic risk ni, measurement dia tadi dah tulis kat depan tu sebenarnya. You can measure using SD, standard deviation ataupun variance. Okay, so this is the measurement lah. Measure using SD ni standard deviation, or we can use variance. Okay, sama juga macam beta, the higher the standard deviation ataupun variance, the higher the risk. Okay, and lower SD ataupun variance, the lower the risk lah. So again, please read the business risk. Sebab this is internally macam cakap so business risk ni selalunya disebabkan oleh mismanagement. It can be disebabkan oleh unskilled workers, kerja yang tak ada skill, menyebabkan you rugi, fraud contohnya, kecurian. So all of those are related dengan business risk. And financial risk selalunya melibatkan risiko, melibatkan pinjaman lah, financing mix yang salah. Right? And the relationship between the risk and return, okay, tak nak cerita in detail lah all this calculation, cuma I nak tunjukkan when we talk about risk and return, so this is the graph that we use lah. So imagine ada satu rate kat sini, so kat bawah ni sepatutnya kosong. Okay, 0% return, zero risk kat sini, this point. So untuk y-axis ni lagi tinggi, the risk, sorry kat sini the higher the risk, the higher the possible of returns. Okay. Cuma if you want to label the types of, letak kat sini tak ada tapi kalau you nak letak the types of instruments, okay, selalunya dekat bawah ni yang high, at this point sebab return ni tak mungkin kosong. Dalam assumption dalam we talk about the return punya teori, kita tak mungkin dapat return kosong sebab ada certain types of investment yang risk free, okay, tapi dia akan bagi kita minimum return. So that's why dia tak start dekat kosong. This point dia tak start dekat sini, dia start at somewhere, let's say katakanlah you letak kat sini 3%. Okay, so this 3% is the minimum. Okay, is the minimum. So contoh instrumen yang ada dekat sini, you boleh letak contohnya government securities lah. So government securities adalah risk-free types of investment. Okay, you invest, government takkan default, dia takkan tak bayar balik. So therefore your investment return somehow is guaranteed. Okay, somehow is guaranteed dekat sini. So if you move up ke atas lagi, okay, you boleh invest kat sini boleh letak contohnya bond dekat sini lah. Dia slightly higher risk and will give you higher return kat sini. And kalau you move up lagi sampai setengah ni, mungkin you boleh letak dekat stocks, for example. Stocks adalah maybe dekat somewhere around here. Okay, and you move up lagi, you boleh letak derivatives kat sini. Okay, lagi tinggilah risiko and possibly to give you higher return. And sekarang kalau paling atas sekali, you boleh letak currently the types of investment, crypto lagi tinggi lah, even higher than derivatives. It give you high risk kind of investment, tapi at the same time it possibly to give you higher returns. Okay, ada je friends yang invest crypto within one month dia punya return tu give you around 50% return. Possible to give you that return sebulan lah 50%. Maknanya kalau dia invest 1,000 dalam sebulan dia dah dapat 500 balik lah. Okay, tapi at the same time there's a possibility of the opposite lah. Maknanya kerugian tu boleh turun dengan drastic jugalah. So the higher the risk, you can get high returns, tapi at the same time you ada potential untuk dapat loss of your loss, maknanya kat bawah daripada kosong ni lah, of your return. So the mirror image of this, kalau you terbalikkan ke bawah, so that's a possibility of you to get the losses lah. Okay, so that's the relationship between the risk and the return. Okay, and with that we end the first topic. Okay, so topik number 1 ni memang tak ada calculation. Okay. So before we move to topic number 2, kita take a short break kejap lah Lama juga dah cakap ni. Minum pun tak boleh. So we take short break before we move on to topic number 2. So topic number 2 nanti kejap lagi ada some calculation involved lah, and I have to shift from my computer ni pergi ke my tab, back and forth macam tu. So bear with me lah kejap lagi So we take 5 kejap ataupun take 10 lah, kita sambung balik 3:15 kejap lagi Okay, sebelum saya terlupa, for those yang belum record your attendance, please do so. Go to your future and sign your attendance lah for our class today. And dalam your future pun ada beritahu before this, kalau dah ada the entrance survey, I think dah ada kot. You just check lah. If you have entrance survey, please do so juga lah. Check ataupun tanda your answers lah for all the entrance survey. It's basically just to gauge your understanding prior, maknanya sebelum, nama pun entrance survey, so maknanya sebelum you buat sesuatu khusus tu, dia nak tahu what you feel ataupun what you know about the certain things. Nanti dekat ujung semester nanti akan ada exit survey pula. So exit survey pula akan measure basically the same questions. Apa yang ditanya hari ni, yang you jawab entrance, dia akan tanya the same question during exit. So dia nak tengok the difference, ada tak perbezaan sebelum, then you go to lectures, and then bila dah habis nanti, so hopefully dia akan nampak some improvement lah. So that's the purpose of the entrance dengan exit survey. So check jugalah dalam future tu ada kan, untuk parts ataupun section of entrance and also exit survey later. Cuma dia ada deadline dia lah, so nanti make sure jawab sebelum dia tutup lah. Dia bukan buka sepanjang semester Untuk entrance ni selalunya awal tak ingat berapa minggu pertama dia bagi. And exit nanti towards the end of the semester dia akan buka pula untuk exit. Okay, so just check your access. Alright, so let's move on to second topic. Okay, so for topic number 2, kita dah go straight to the source of documents, okay, which is the financial statement. So untuk topik 2 yang awal ni, at least 2.1, 2.2 tu, balance sheet income statement, that's basically kalau you dah ada basic accounting ataupun even finance before, these are the documents that we use, okay, the raw material that we use untuk kita buat our own analysis later on. And salah satu documents yang kita akan buat kalau kita buka annual report, cash flow ni dia dah bagi, tapi untuk this topic kita kena prepare our own the cash flow. So untuk balance sheet dengan income statement tu, if it relates dengan test ataupun your assignment, balance sheet income statement ni you dah boleh dapat straight away, maknanya it will be given to you. Okay, tapi untuk topik 2 ni, 2.3 cash flow tu kita akan buat, kita kena prepare our own, how to prepare lah the cash flow statement. So first things first, we gonna look at the key financial statement. So key financial statement represent a raw material, macam saya cakap tadi for our analysis punya section later on. So among the key financial statements termasuklah number 1, the balance sheet. Okay, selalunya sekarang dia dah tak panggil balance sheet lah, selalunya dipanggil statement of financial position. Okay, statement of financial position, kat sini tulis statement of accounting occasion, tapi selalunya kita panggil dia statement of financial position. Dia tak tulis kat sini. Tapi jadi detail I tulis statement of financial position. So it will be a snapshot of the company. Kita nak tengok sebab dalam balance sheet ni you akan nampak ada 3 elements lah. We have the assets, we have the liabilities, and we have the equity of the company. So from there, it will give us a snapshot ataupun a quick overview of the company. How much is the assets of the company, berapa banyak dia ada hutang in terms of the liability, and how much is the funding from the company from the equation side. So adakah company ni have more liability as compared to the as compared to the equity and so on. So semuanya kita boleh nampak from just an overview from the balance sheet. Okay, and then we have the second one, the income statement. Okay, selalunya ataupun used to be known as P&L, profit and loss accounts. So it explains the movement between the 2 balance sheets. Okay, cuma kita akan tengok in terms of the revenues and also the expenses. Okay, duit masuk, inflows and also outflows. Okay, and the third statement is the cash flow statement. So it explains the movement of 2 balance sheet juga. Kalau tadi tu in the form of profits, kalau cash flow ni nama pun cash flow kan. So it's basically the movement in terms of cash. Okay, so yang number 3 ni kita akan buat sekejap lagi lah. So in detail, the balance sheet, so it shows the financial position. Okay, so this is the term tadi I guna. The financial position at one point of in time, usually the last day of calendar or fiscal year. Okay, last day of calendar ni tak semestinya calendar year tahun semasa. So kita selalunya kita panggil dia financial year end dia lah. Okay, some company financial year end dia memang 31st December. Some might be 31st of March, for example. Some maybe dia punya financial year end 30th of June even, or 30th of September. So tak kisah. Okay, tak kisah bila dia punya financial year end dia. However, the statement selalunya represent 1 year punya performance lah. Okay, 1 year punya performance. So it is a summary of the firm's resources in the form of assets, and it will be balanced against, saya cakap tadi lah, the debt in the form of liabilities, and also the ownership in the form of equity. Okay, so this is the equation yang I mentioned tadi. Right, cuma dia akan display in the form of a statement. Okay, so sekarang statement dia punya, kalau dulu dia punya statement is more like a T account, left and right punya position, but now dia punya formatting selalunya assets will be on top and liabilities and equity will be at the bottom. Okay, so assets represents whatever the companies have. Okay, macam asset ni tak kira lah. It can be something that they own using their own funds, ataupun sometimes kita boleh pinjam juga untuk beli. So that's why nanti dia akan balance out dengan how the assets will be funded. Adakah dia menggunakan hutang, liabilities, or they use their own money, owner's equity. Okay, whatever asset they have, obviously akan ada dia punya fund lah. Okay, macam cakap, it can be from external, from debt, liabilities, or from their own funding lah. Okay, from equity. Okay, so kalau sebelum ni dalam exam, for example, okay, kita still menggunakan this format, the T account punya format. Right, so assets on the left hand side, and then liabilities and equity on the right hand side. Okay, and dia akan sort according to the liquid dekat atas and yang tak liquid dekat bawah. Okay, similarly dengan liabilities jugalah. So yang liquid, current liabilities kat atas, and then the long term liabilities and also equity dekat bawah lah. Right. So these are examples yang ada lah. So untuk assets dia pecahkan kepada two types ataupun two categories. Current assets and also fixed assets. Cuma sometimes fixed asset ni, they might use the terms non-current assets. Okay. So to differentiate between the two, current asset ni bermaksud assets that can be converted into cash easily. Okay, untuk current So untuk current ni selalunya we can convert it quite fast, usually within 1 year. Okay, so marketable securities ni apa? Marketable securities adalah short-term investment. Investment jangka pendek that you invest usually in the money market. Kalau you ingat tadi money market, short-term investment kan, ataupun short-term market kan. So those yang traded in the money market is usually refers to marketable securities. So kita boleh beli and the expiry ataupun the maturity selalunya within 1 year. Okay. We also have account receivable. Account receivable ni adalah when you do your business and you give credit to your customer. Okay, katakanlah you jual barang and you allow your customer to pay next month, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. Okay, yang you bagi credit lah. Maknanya customer boleh bayar hutang. Sales dah berlaku tapi customer belum bayar lagi. So that's account receivable. You akan letak dalam account receivable lah amount ni. You jual produk you to your customer, customer akan bayar dalam masa 3 bulan lagi. So semasa sales tu berlaku, you akan record dia as account receivable. 100,000 katakan. But after 3 months dia dah bayar katakan, this 3,000 will be transferred into cash. Dia akan masuk dalam cash lah, cash tulis kat sini tapi selalunya cash atas sekali lah. Okay, so that's account receivable. Okay, and then we have inventories, stocks. So inventories akan masuk ke dalam ni jugalah. And lastly, prepaid expenses. So apa masuk prepaid expenses? Expenses untuk certain services contohnya, you dah bayar upfront. Namakan prepaid kan. Prepaid maknanya you dah bayar tapi you belum guna lagi the service. For example, yang paling mudah, selalunya I ambil rental lah. Okay. Company you rent office. Okay. Instead of bayar tiap-tiap bulan, you bayar setahun terus contohnya. Right. Katakanlah sebulan sewa pejabat RM1,000. Okay. But during January, you bayar terus RM12,000 to the landlord. You bayar RM12,000. So that 12,000 akan masuk dalam prepaid expenses. Sebab sepatutnya you bayar RM1,000 je, tapi because of you paid upfront, the amount tu it will be part of your assets. Okay, as a prepaid expenses. Okay, tu contohlah for current assets. Next, we have fixed assets. Untuk fixed asset pula, ni melibatkan aset-aset yang in a long term punya kategori lah. Anything that we need to acquire memerlukan lebih daripada setahun. Okay, plant and machinery, kilang-kilang, machines, land and buildings. We boleh tambah jugalah motor vehicles. Okay, semua tu masuk dalam fixed assets. Okay, aset tetap ataupun non-current asset lah kita panggil dia. Okay, so when we combine everything, it will become total assets. Untuk yang kanan pula, kita ada liabilities. As asset, sama macam assets, dipecahkan jugalah current dengan non-current. So current liabilities, anything that we have to pay within 1 year. Okay, that we have to pay within 1 year. So for the first one here, we have account payable. So account payable ni is the opposite of account receivable. Kalau account receivable tadi you do sales tapi customer tak bayar balik kan, tak bayar lagi, dia belum bayar lagi, you give credit to them. Okay, untuk account payable pula dia opposite position. So maksudnya kat sini you yang beli barang from your supplier, okay, you purchase your raw material ataupun your goods from your supplier tapi you belum bayar your supplier. So that amount akan masuk dalam account payable. Okay, this is your hutang lah. Okay, you have to pay within 1 year. Okay, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever lah. Okay, that's account payable. And then the next one, we have notes payable. Kalau tadi account payable, you owe your supplier. So notes payable ni selalunya melibatkan pinjaman dengan bank. Okay, notes payable ni selalunya short term loans lah from the bank. Okay, so dia masuk dalam notes payable. Okay, and the third one here is accrued ataupun accruals. Kat sini dia guna terms accruals ataupun kalau kadang-kadang nama panjang dia dipanggil accrued expenses. Kalau tadi kita ada prepaid expenses, kalau kita dah bayar upfront, accrued ataupun accruals ni adalah yang kita berhutang lagi. So maknanya we take services from our contractors ke whatever, tapi kita belum bayar lagi. We haven't paid yet. So similarly, I boleh guna rental juga sebagai example. Kalau tadi prepaid expenses, you pay upfront your rental. Here, you tak bayar lagi rental. So sekarang dah bulan 3 kan, March. So daripada January sampai sekarang, you belum bayar lagi rental. So that will appear dalam accruals. So 3 bulan punya rental, RM3,000 contohnya, will be parked under accrued expenses. So it's your liability lah. You tanggung kena bayar RM3,000 tapi belum bayar lagi. Okay, so that's accrual something yang you haven't paid yet. So semua ni combine akan jadi current liabilities. And for liabilities, kita ada long term liabilities. Okay, kategori yang kedua under liabilities adalah long term liabilities ataupun you can use the term non-current liabilities. Sama macam asset jugalah. Okay, so anything that you have to pay more than 1 year, dia akan masuk dalam long term debt ni lah, long term liabilities. So anything related dengan bonds, for example, sebab bond adalah long term instrument, so bond adalah contoh, ada dalam long term liabilities lah. Bond ataupun even bank loans yang jangka panjang, term loans contohnya. Debentures, itu semua adalah contoh-contoh long term liabilities that you have to pay more than 1 year. Okay, anything more than 1 year, you masuk dekat long term liabilities. So sebenarnya bila you combine current and long term, you can get a total liabilities lah. Okay, you can get total liabilities. And then dekat bawah liabilities, we have equities. So equities kat sini dia letaklah contoh-contoh ada common stocks, ada preferred stocks, ada retained earnings. Okay, so retained earning ni adalah accumulative profit yang you simpan lah in the company that you not give out in a form of dividend. So dividend yang bukan dividend lah, portion profit yang you tak bagi dividend tu masuk dalam retained earning, and this retained earning will be accumulated every year. So bila you combine all of these side belah kanan ni, this value, total liabilities and equity mesti sama dengan total asset ni. Okay, both sides will be balanced. Nama pun balance sheet kan, so that's why dia akan balance lah, the left hand side and the right hand side. Okay, kalau you belajar account contohnya, you kena prepare statement ni, you kena belajar macam mana nak make sure these two will be balanced. Tapi kita belajar finance sekarang ni, you don't have to worry about the balance element kat sini lah. Kita hanya gunakan dokumen ni untuk buat our own analysis. Okay, what kind of analysis kita akan buat later lah. Okay, cuma ni adalah sumber rujukan ataupun the source of our reference. Okay, untuk buat calculations. Okay, so ni contoh. Ni pun contoh lama dah ni. Bila ni? Tahun 2010. Relates dengan ni kebetulan saya ambil one financial institution. So nama dia pun statement of financial position. We have assets on top, cuma dia tak pecahkan current dengan non-current. Cuma selalunya yang paling liquid dekat atas lah macam cakap. So current selalunya dekat atas, and then non-current selalunya dekat bawah lah. Macam ni lah, property, intangible asset, deferred asset ni semua adalah non-current assets. Okay, dia berada di bawah. Okay, so total asset for example for group 2010 adalah 10.9 ni, 10.9 billion ni. Okay, sebab dia ada thousands punya decimal kat atas ni. Okay, and then for the liabilities pula, dia ada the current liabilities dekat atas and the non-current dekat bawah lah. Non-current liabilities. Okay. So dia punya total liabilities adalah about 8.8 billion, and then dia punya equity is about 2 billion. So dia punya total liabilities and shareholders equity is the same as the total asset, 10.9 versus 10.9. Okay. So this is example of statement of financial position. Right. So you boleh baca lah ni, ada explain tadi in detail what is current assets and some examples of it. Okay, and the nature whereby the current asset can be converted into cash within 1 year. Okay, untuk non-current ataupun fixed. Okay, contoh-contoh pun ada kat sini macam cakap tadi, machineries, equipment, and buildings, motor vehicles, and you have to acquire usually assets in a long-term basis, and usually it will be much harder for you to convert into cash in short period of time without losing its value lah. So selalunya for the non-current, you can state using gross ataupun book value, net value. So kalau net, gross minus depreciation, sebab some of the fixed asset can depreciate in values, especially melibatkan equipment, melibatkan machines, motor vehicles. Semua aset-aset ni boleh turun nilai ataupun susut nilai. Okay, so untuk aset yang macam ni, kita akan ambil gross value dia yang asal, kita tolak dengan depreciation untuk dapatkan net value lah. Okay, and we have liabilities juga macam cakap tadi, current dengan non-current. Okay, current liability dengan long term for example. So dia punya perbezaan macam cakap lah, anything less than 1 year masuk dalam current, anything more than 1 year akan masuk non-current ataupun long term. Okay, they have some example kat sini lah tadi. Okay, long term, term loans, debentures, bonds and so on. Mortgage, lease, semua masuk dalam long term lah. Anything payable beyond 1 year. Okay, and lastly equity. So the second statement adalah income statement. So it summarizes the inflows and outflows of the money. So revenues usually comes from sales and any other income. Kalau company tu ada invest somewhere else, dapat income dalam bentuk dividen ke, dapat income dalam bentuk rental ke, so semua masuk dalam revenues. And second part is the cost and expenses incurred. So anything yang duit keluar, okay, yang dia kena bayar ke, expenses incurred, dia akan record jugalah kat dalam ni. So expenses that they have to pay lah in order to generate their revenues. Okay, and the difference between revenues dengan cost or expenses, kalau dia positif, kita dapat profits. Okay, but if we get a negative values after we deduct the revenues dengan the expenses, dia akan dapat loss. Okay, so obviously as a company, you try to get as high possible profit. Okay. So dalam income statement, the expenses tadi dia boleh letak lah dalam form cost of goods sold, for example, whereby this is the cost to produce the goods ataupun to acquire the goods. Then we have the operating expenses yang terlibat ataupun melibatkan operation. It can be marketing, it can be administration punya expenses, utility bills, salary, semua masuk dalam operating expenses. Okay, ataupun selalunya in short kita panggil dia OPEX lah, operating expenses. And then the company also subject to payment of interest kalau dia ada. Kalau dia buat pinjaman yang melibatkan interest, for example, ataupun kalau dia ambil yang Islamic, dia tak ada interest lah. Dia panggil financing cost, for example. So, pun masuk kat dalam ni. And they have tax expenses. Dia kena bayar tax pada government. Okay, they have to pay this as well. And finally, selepas tolak all the costs and expenses ni, dia akan dapatlah net income macam saya cakap tadi. Okay, positive net income. Kalau negatif, dia akan dapat net loss. Okay, so kalau net income, some parts of it dia akan distribute to the shareholders. Okay, again, this is the generic, you can see the format untuk income statement. Dia start dengan revenues kat atas and dia minus the cost of goods sold, and then dia dapat the first level of profit, the gross profits, and then they deduct the operating expenses and also depreciation kalau ada. So be the operating income ataupun earning before interest and taxes, EBIT. And then minus interest. Ingat, interest is the financing cost to get the earning before taxes. And then they have to pay government the tax. Okay. And barulah dapat the net income. So this net income profits, dia akan bayar part of it to the shareholders in the form of dividends. So dia ada dua shareholders, the preferred dengan common stockholders ataupun shareholders, dia bayar. So whatever balance from the payment of dividend, dia akan masuk dalam retained earnings. Macam saya cakap tadi lah, retained earning ni ada dekat sini, dekat income statement. Okay, bear with me. Retained earning ni juga ada, jauh juga. Dia ada dekat balance sheet juga. So retained earning dalam balance sheet ni adalah accumulated. Yang ada dalam income statement tadi adalah retained earning for the year, untuk tahun semasa. Alright, so within 20 minutes tinggal. Okay. The ones that I want to share is the cash flow statement. Okay, cash flow statement ni adalah statement yang kalau dibuka dalam annual report dia dah bagi. Tapi dalam case ni, they ask you to know how to calculate the cash flow statement. Okay, so basically this is the first form of calculation that you need to learn lah, the cash flow statement. So it summarizes the inflows and outflow of cash transactions for the year and to reconcile all the cash transactions. Okay, so cash in cash flow statement must equal to cash in the balance sheet. Okay, so dalam balance sheet nanti akan ada cash amount dia. So amount dia mesti sama dengan cash dalam cash flow statement. So kalau tak sama maknanya ada something wrong dengan your calculation lah. So dalam statement of cash flow, it will be separated into three main categories: the operating activities. Okay, so includes the net income, depreciation, and changes dalam current asset and current liabilities. Remember tadi dalam balance sheet ada current assets on the left, current liabilities on the right side kan. So anything yang berubah dalam current asset dengan current liabilities, kita akan masuk dalam operating activities juga. So maknanya ada 3 elemen ya. Pertama, net income akan masuk operating activities. Depreciation akan masuk dalam operating activities. And the changes in the current asset and current liabilities. Kecuali, except for cash, short-term investment, which is the marketable securities, and also notes payable. So short-term investment ni ataupun marketable securities ada dalam current assets, notes payable ada dalam current liabilities. So 3 benda ni, cash, marketable securities, notes payable tak masuk dalam operating activities. Okay, so cash ni memang tak masuk sebab this is our end goal untuk cari berapa cash dia. But these two, short-term investment and notes payable, dia akan masuk dalam financing activities. Okay, skip dulu financing activities. The second category is investing. Okay, investing ni ada satu je item, which is the changes in fixed assets. Okay, fixed asset masuk kat dalam ni. Okay, and the third category adalah financing. So changes in short term dengan notes payable masuk kat sini. Dia tak masuk operating tapi dia masuk financing. So long term liabilities and equity akan masuk dalam financing juga. And finally dividend payment. Okay, dividend payment akan masuk kat dalam ni. So macam mana nak classify? Kan kita ada changes tadi kan. Macam net income, depreciation ni very straightforward. Kita akan masuk, kita akan pick masuk dalam tu. Tapi yang changes ni kita kena identify. Okay, kita kena identify. So rule of classification, kita akan label dia sebagai sources ataupun uses untuk setiap satu item tu. Okay, untuk assets, okay, untuk asset, kalau dia decrease, okay, when asset decrease maknanya perubahan daripada tahun semasa dengan tahun lepas menunjukkan decrease ataupun pengurangan value dia. Dia akan menjadi, untuk asset dia akan menjadi source, okay, of fund. Okay, kalau dia opposite, kalau dia increase, dia akan jadi users lah, right? Tapi kalau untuk liability dengan equity, kalau dia increase, dia akan jadi source, and kalau dia decrease, dia akan menjadi, dia akan decrease untuk liability and equity, dia akan menjadi users. Okay, tak apa, kalau you tak faham lagi by now, tak apa, you just follow dulu apa benda yang nak cakap ni. So I recap balik. Untuk assets, okay, remember asset yang belah kiri tadi on the left hand side. Kalau dia decrease in value, kita letak dia sources ataupun kita boleh label dia as S, symbol S. Kalau dia increase in value, dia akan jadi users lah ataupun symbol U. Right? And untuk liability and equity pula yang belah kanan tu, okay, dia correspond exactly macam dia punya movement. So kalau increase, positive, maknanya source. Kalau decrease, will be users. Okay, and the profits tadi, okay, profits tadi akan masuk dekat sources. Kalau company tu rugi, loss, dia akan masuk users. And depreciation and any other non-cash akan masuk sources. And dividend akan masuk users. So apa kebaikan atau bukan kebaikan lah, apa kegunaan sources and users ni? So dia punya kegunaan, I boleh letak kat sini Whenever dia source, kita akan add the value. Whenever the users, kita akan minus the values. Okay, so the function of knowing the classification is it allow us to know sama ada value yang kita akan cari kejap lagi, sama ada kita kena tambah, add, or we have to minus. Okay, so this is an example lah ataupun the format untuk cash flow statements. So kita ada 3 kategori operating activities. We will start with net income. So net income positif kan, sebab source dia net profit kan, source maknanya add maknanya positif, add. So net income akan positif dekat sini plus depreciation. Okay, bear with me, I kena back and forth just nak tunjuk you. Depreciation pun kita akan add sebab dia akan masuk dalam source. Okay, tapi kalaulah company tu rugi, dia dapat net loss for example, so this value akan jadi negatif lah ataupun minus. So that's why net loss akan minus lah kat sini. Tapi depreciation will always be plus. Kita akan sentiasa add. Right? And then we add all the changes of the working capital, current asset, current liability, kecuali 3 benda tadi lah, cash, notes payable, dengan short term investment ataupun marketable securities. Okay, selain daripada tu, semua kita akan masuk kat dalam ni lah satu persatu. Okay, so sama ada nak plus ataupun minus, depending on the movement, sama ada di increase or increase, based on assets or liabilities. Okay, kejap lagi saya tunjuk lah. Okay, maybe masa tu baru you nampak lah. So the plus and the minus, you combine everything, then you're gonna get the total kat sini lah, the net cash. So net cash ni boleh positif, boleh negatif, depending on the total sum yang you buat for all. Next, number 2 is long-term investment activities. Okay, changes in fixed asset. Changes in fixed asset ni satu je, kita hanya akan tengok dekat dia punya fixed asset sahaja. Right? And the third category adalah financing. Remember, financing starts dengan changes of yang dia exception tadi. Notes payable dengan marketable securities, you boleh letak kat dalam ni. And then anything yang relates dengan equity, dengan long-term debt pun akan masuk dekat dalam ni, together finally with the dividend. Okay, dividend pun masuk dalam financing activities. So combine everything, kita akan dapat net cash provided. So it can be all positive, it can be one positive, negative, positive kat sini, katakan. You kena sum all three. You kena combine 3 figures ni, the total net cash from operating, from the fixed asset, and also from the financing, you akan dapat net change in cash. Satu value kat sini. And this is where this amount kena tally kan lah from your statement tadi dalam balance sheet. Sama ada cash beginning dengan cash di end ni sama ataupun tidak. Okay, so selalunya by now memang tak clear lagi apa benda yang I cakap ni. So, let's take an example lah. Okay, untuk example, dalam ni ada cara kira. Okay, so I tak nak guna yang ni lah kot. Sebab you can baca this one by yourself. Instead, okay, let me share one question. Sekejap Okay, boleh nampak ni. Okay, now I'm using my tab. So this is an example, okay, untuk soalan, ni soalan lama ni October 2006. Macam cakap dah tak ada final exam dah sekarang so kita kena rely on soalan-soalan yang lama lah. So this is the question for Maju Jaya Berhad. Dia bagi 2 tahun punya statements, 2004 and 2005. So we have the balance sheet with assets on top kat sini, dari cash and so on untuk current assets, and then kat bawah tu ada the fixed asset lah kat bawah tu. Dia bagi gross fixed asset, and then dia ada accumulated depreciation and the total assets kat bawah tu for 2 years then the liabilities and equity kat bawah. Okay, current liability dulu, and then long term liability untuk long term debt tu, and then dia ada equity lah. Equity dia hanya ada common stocks dengan retained earnings. So dibagilah total assets dengan total liability and equity tu sama both sides. So selain daripada tu, next page dia bagi income statement. Okay, dia bagi sales. Okay, sales. And then dia ada cost of goods sold, ada expenses, depreciation and so on, sampailah net losses. So company dia rugi net losses. So soalan ni dia suruh prepare 2 things. Statement of retained earning dengan statement cash flow. So statement of retained earning you boleh ignore. boleh tulis Pak. Ke saya kena tekan something Sekejap. Bagi tulis pula. But anyway, kita tak perlu buat statement of retaining lah. Kita hanya fokus kepada statement of cash flows. Okay, statement of cash flows. So what we need to do, okay, first step when we have to prepare a statement of cash flow, kita kena differentiate. Okay, differentiate between the two. Okay, so maknanya what you need to do first things first, you kena tolakkan setiap satu items dalam assets and also liabilities, okay, with the exceptions of cash. Okay, cash ni tak perlu tolak, and also the retained earnings. Ni kat bawah tu, retained earnings tu pun you tak perlu tolak. Alright, so we just minus the current one, which is the latest one, 2005, minus with the 2004. Okay. I don't know why I tak boleh tulis ni. Okay, can you help me tak? Siapa yang ada calculator? Obviously, bila you buat FIN420 ni, you have to have a calculator. Untuk marketable securities, for example. So, marketable securities, the current one is 20,000. Okay, and the 2004 punya adalah 48,600 ringgit. So, 20,000 minus 48,600. Okay, sepatutnya you should get a negative 28,600. Okay, negative 28,600. Berapa boleh tulis? Okay, 28,600. Boleh nampak So 28,600 is the marketable securities. Okay. Untuk account receivable 632,160 tolak 351,200, you're gonna get, so I dah kira beforehand so it will be 280,960. Okay, and untuk inventories 1287 ni, 1.28 million ni, tolak dengan 715,200, it will give you around 572 160. Okay, so untuk current assets 3 tu je. So the total one you don't have to calculate. We just focus on the 3 items saja. Next, you can use the gross fixed asset. Okay, untuk fixed asset, there are 2 ways how to find. Okay, either you use the gross ataupun you can use the net. Cuma kalau net, you kena tambah balik dengan depreciation. Okay, tapi since dah ada gross, kita guna gross saja. So for the gross fixed asset, value dia, okay, yang you ambil 1,202,950 tolak dengan 491,000 ni, it will give you around 711,950. Okay, 711,950. That's your first ni lah. Untuk assets. Untuk asset ni maknanya ada 4 item ni saja that we want to find. Depreciation ni sebenarnya you boleh kira jugalah. 263,160 ni minus dengan 414,600. Depreciation you adalah 116,960. Okay, so 5 items, sorry. Untuk dalam balance sheet assets punya side, kita cari 5 item ni saja. Okay, and it will based on the question lah. So setiap soalan berbeza. So tengok soalan you, but for this question, we have 5 items. Okay, going back to the rules. I tak boleh go back and forth sebab tu tadi dalam PowerPoint ni dekat tab. Tapi kalau you ingat dalam notes tu tadi, I letak dalam sources, okay, dalam sources untuk assets mana yang decrease. Okay, tunjuk baliklah senang Okay, bear with me. I have to go back and forth ni so that you truly understand. Takut you tersilap faham. Okay, nampak ni kan? So, decrease in asset adalah source. Okay, increase in asset adalah users. So, mana-mana yang I kira tadi dalam bracket, maknanya dia turun, decrease, akan menjadi source. I akan letak tanda S lah dekat situ S kat situ. So mana-mana yang positif, yang increase, okay, dekat asset, I akan letak U. Okay. So let me go back to my tab. Okay. So for example ni, marketable securities, this is will be source lah. I akan letak S kat sini. So untuk account receivable, this is U, this is U. Untuk gross fixed asset, this is U juga. Tapi untuk depreciation, ingat depreciation adalah source. This is source. Okay, depreciation always source. So apa implikasi S, U, 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 S ni? So anything yang S kita akan plus, anything yang U kita akan minus. Itu implikasi dia lah. Okay. Anything yang U will be kita akan minus. And going back down to liabilities and equity, account payable, kalau you tolak between the two, you will get 178 400. Notes payable, kalau you tolak, it will be 520,000. Accruals, if you minus 148 960. Okay, and that's for liabilities, current liabilities. Untuk long term debt, if you minus 676 568. Okay, so maknanya 1 million minus 323432, you dapatlah 676 568. Okay, and for common stock, tak berubah kan? So there's no changes lah. And returning, you don't have to minus yet. Okay, untuk soalan ni kita tak perlu minus. So untuk liabilities and equity, just 4 items. Okay, kalau tadi for assets, kalau dia decrease, maknanya dalam bracket ni decrease I letak sources. Untuk liability and equity, dia reverse, dia terbalik. So anything yang positif kat sini, okay, kalau tadi positif kat sini, increase maksudnya, dia letak U kan. So untuk dekat liabilities and equity, dia the opposite. Ataupun dalam bahasa mudah dia, whatever yang positif dekat sini, you akan letak semuanya sebagai source. Semuanya sebagai source. Okay, whichever kalau negatif dekat bawah ni, liabilities and equity, semuanya use. So semua use maknanya you kena minus jugalah. So yang kat bawah ni, liabilities and equity, they correspond positively. So kalau value dia positif, kita akan add. Okay, kalau untuk asset tadi, dia terbalik. Okay, kalau ada asset, dia terbalik. Right, so untuk balance sheet, itu sahaja yang kita kena buat now, for now. Right, and untuk income statement, okay, income statement, a few things yang you kena cari. Number one, you tak payah kira sebab dia bagi tahun 1 tahun saja. You need to identify this. Ni akan masuk dalam kita punya statement. Okay. This one, boleh tulis pula. Okay. By the way, net losses tu you kena take into consideration. Remember bila dia losses, dia akan jadi users, so you akan tolak. Depreciation ada dekat sini 116960. So 116960 ni sama macam kita punya depreciation tadi, 116960 yang dekat atas ni. This one. So sama. Okay, so maknanya kat sini kalau income statement tak bagi, we can find from your asset lah. Okay, and satu lagi yang tak ada, kalau you perasan kat sini, dia tak ada dividend. Dividends not given. Okay, dividen tak diberi. So if tak ada dividen, okay, you can find using this technique. Okay, nak cari dividen, it will be net profit or loss. Kalau loss lah, you have to minus with, okay, the difference of retained earning yang pertama, current retained earning, you have to minus with retained earning, from the previous year. Okay, net profit ataupun loss minus with retained earning 1 minus retained earning 0. Ni untuk cari dividen. So untuk cash flow statement, you need to find. So kalau dalam balance sheet, dalam income statement tadi tak bagi, okay, selalunya dividen will appear after net loss ataupun net profit. But since it's not given in your question, you kena gunakan formula ni. So since tak bagi, so the net loss tadi adalah berapa? 95136 So it's negative 95136. Okay, and then you have to minus dengan the difference between the two lah. So dia 632 minus dengan 203 768. Okay, ni returning ni. So bila you minus, maknanya you solve this equation, you gotta get 11,000. So this is dividend. And remember, dividend kalau dalam table tadi tu, dividend kalau depreciation will be sources, dividend will be users. So dividend akan masuk dalam users. So technically you're gonna minus this amount lah. So now you have all of this information. Okay, you dah ada dalam balance sheet. Okay, you ada dividend juga, and you have the income statement. So income statement ni hanya kita tengok losses dengan depreciation. So what will happen? So I'm going to use this blank template. You letaklah nama company tu tadi apa? Maju Berhad. Maju Berhad. Dan you letaklah cash flow statement for the year whatever lah, tahun ikut soalan tu. And ikut format yang dalam notes tadi, it will start off with operating activities. Okay, ni kekurangan guna tab ni kalau I guna dekat komputer ni, I can back and forth sebab guna share satu dokumen je kan. But now you have bear with me this week je lah. Hopefully insyaAllah next week I tak lupa. So first we starts with net loss. Company loss tadi kan. So net loss from the statement tadi is 95. 136. Okay, and we're gonna add with depreciation. Masih dah terlepas ni bear with me sekejap 116,960. Okay, and then we have to add semua dalam working capital, current asset dengan current liabilities, kecuali marketable securities and notes payable. So the rest you copy je. So maksudnya ia akan ada account receivable, tulis short form je lah account receivable. Account receivable tadi 280 600. Okay, but kita kena minus sebab dia usage tadi users. And then inventories 572 160 minus as well. And then we have depreciation. Depreciation dah sudah, sorry. Tengok atas pula. Inventories, account payable. Account payable dia 178 400. Okay, source, ingat semua dekat liability tadi semua source. And then accruals. So accruals 148 960. Then you kena total up kan, net cash in operating activities. So bila combine kan semua ni, you're gonna get dalam case ni it's negative 503 936. Okay, bear with me sekejap. Okay, ni tadi So basically you start with net loss. Bawah sekali ni, net loss 95136. And then you add with depreciation. Okay, depreciation kat sini boleh tengok juga. 116960 tadi. Source kita campur. And then with kecuali marketable securities and also notes payable, you tambah semua. Maknanya you just follow je lah. Lepas marketable securities yang kita akan masuk kemudian, kita ambil account receivable. Kita minus sebab dia U kan, 280960. Lepas tu inventory 572 pun you tolak. Fixed asset kita biar dulu, kita tak pakai kat sini. Account payable S so you plus 178,400. Notes payable kita exclude lagi, accruals 148. Itu je. Dan kita combine everything. Dan kita dapat ni lah, negative 503,936. The second category adalah investing. Okay, investing activities. Activity ada satu je. You boleh guna this term. Nak senang capital expenditure, capex. So capital expenditure ni kita guna gross fixed asset minus antara dua. Gross minus gross fixed asset tadi So gross minus gross tadi kita dapat 711 950. And this is usage tadi. Okay, usage. So kita letak negatif lah. Okay, satu saja. And finally, financing. So financing ni kita boleh start dengan marketable securities yang kita skip tadi marketable securities 28,600. Okay, dia plus kita add. And then kita ada notes payable. Notes payable 520,000. And then kita ada long-term debt. Long-term debt tadi berapa? 676. 676,568. Okay, and don't forget dividend. Dividend tadi kita dapat negative 11,000. Sebab dividend is always minus. Okay. Then bila you add everything here, tak sempat kira ni tadi lah. It's 600 plus 520,000 plus 676,568 minus 11,000. So it will be 1214 168. So this is your net cash net cash in financing activities. Okay, nanti tulis benar-benar lah So once you dah ada ni, you akan dapat net cash lah kat sini, net cash for the year. Net cash for the year. So maknanya what you need to do, 1214,168 ni positif kan? So this is negative, you tolak this one and you tolak 503,936 ni. Berapa dapat dia? You should get tolak 711,950 minus 503,936. You akan dapat negative 1718. So dia menurun 1718. Okay, so how to know whether you get 1718 ni betul ke tak? Okay, bear with me. You go back to cash. You ambil 7282 ni. 7282 minus 9,000. 7282 minus 9,000, you should get 1718. Technically. Okay, 7282 tolak 9,000 adalah 1718. So that's how to check whether your calculation tadi betul ataupun tidak. Okay, so it's 7282. Cash at beginning is 9,000. Cash at the end is 7282. Okay, so this is the final answer lah. So net cash adalah negative 1718. Cash at the beginning, maknanya tahun yang awal 2004 tu adalah 9,000, tapi at the end 7282 lah. So dia menurun by 1,780. So this is basically the answer that you need to find. Okay, the answer yang you kena cari lah sebenarnya. Okay, so don't worry, I will share the video and I will share juga the question itself. You can try, and on top of that, you can try another question yang dalam notes tadi lah. So dalam notes tu dah ada jawapan, that's why I tak nak go through that tadi. So this is a format. So sepatutnya ada perkataan summary kat situ. Net change in cash for the year, cash at the beginning and cash at the ending of the year. Right, so dia bagi jugalah. So some example, you can try cari the difference. Dia kat belakang ni ada kot jawapan. Dia dah bagi dah the steps to find the difference between the two. So nak action add minus ni, you need to determine lah the sources and users tadi, guna the rules I mentioned. Okay, sources kena add, users you have to minus. And then you transfer everything dalam the statement, dia bagilah. This is the final answer dia lah, operating activities. And then bila you add 227 dengan minus 230 minus negative 2520 ni, you get minus 5,000 juga. Beginning cash 15, ending 10,000. So you tengok kat sini lah, sama lah. Okay. Beginning 15, ending the 10. Right. So that's about it for cash flow statement. Okay, and it ends of topic number 2 as well. Okay, ada soalan ke? Right, so I have to be quick tadi. Right, so kalau tak ada, thank you very much. Ada soalan? Ya.
Hi sir, sorry I nak tanya. I Zalika. Let's say after 1 year kita dah close account and then kita find out ada tax for director last year punya which is haven't pay.
Okay.
And then together with the company tax lah. And then bila kita dah dapat final amount from LHDN, kita decided nak pay for monthly which is installment lah. So dekat mana kita nak record untuk tax yang last year punya tu which is installment by monthly, kita baru nak start pay current lah, sekarang baru nak start pay.
Yeah, obviously dia akan ada dekat liabilities juga sebab you tak bayar lagi kan. And the one yang you bayar tu selalunya appear dekat expenses part lah kot.
Oh, okay. So record under expenses lah. Under director punya dia akan jadi kita record under director punya expenses ke ataupun company juga?
Director tu yang payable dia siapa? The company
company kan? Bayarkan lah.
So company punya ni lah, account lah.
Company expenses lah. Kita bukan letak under code dia which is nanti jadi drawing ke tak lah kan?
Ya, tak.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, so untuk next topic 3 nanti, kita akan still gunakan balance sheet income statement but we are looking more on the financial ratios punya analysis pula. Alright, so before we end, just nak remind, session ni recorded, so obviously I akan upload ni, selalunya I akan upload dalam YouTube, and I will share the link balik kat dalam future, dalam attendance tadi ataupun ya dalam session tu dia ada link untuk you join, and satu lagi session untuk recorded kan, so nanti I akan letak kat situ lah the video untuk sharing hari ni. Okay, alright, sorry take your time terlebih 15 minit. Thank you very much for your time and your focus and all. Okay, selamat buka puasa later. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the second meeting. Alright, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.